Welcome to Cleaning Company Blueprint. I'm Vic, and I'm here with Kevin, the owner of Convert Labs and one of the fabulous coaches in Cleaning Company Blueprint. Kevin's here today to share everything about his story, why he started the software, how he started his cleaning company back in the day, and how he's been coaching thousands of people all over the place on how to start, grow, launch, scale your cleaning business. Let's back it up to the very beginning. You started your own cleaning company. When, why, what happened?
Back in 2012, I was a real estate agent and it was the time of short sales. So it was not a great time to be a real estate agent. I hated it. So sold my first house. And at that time, I wanted to do something else with that money my commission check. I read Rohan's post on Reddit like that day. It was literally like a week before I got my check. Like I actually got my check. So I read Rohan's post about how he replaced his full-time income of like $4,000 a month with his cleaning company. And I just thought to myself, like, I could do that. That's something I can do. In the past, I've, played around with different websites and trying to start little companies and online shops and stuff. Nothing really panned out, but it gave me the experience to know that, I could put a website together. I could kind of, figure out what I needed to figure out. So yeah, so basically I messaged Rohan and I said, hey, I'm going to do this thing. Can we chat? And over the course of a couple of months and years, Rohan and I just became really close friends. And my company did really well. I was actually the first company in the Silicon Valley to have online booking for house cleaning. So we did really, really well. We're doing about $40,000 a month on month 4. And
Month four?
yeah, month 4. A different world back then.
Yeah.
Yelp came out with this pay-per-click program, and I just unlimited it, the highest budget possible, and I got like 36 bookings in a single day from Yelp. So it was a different world back then. There I pretty much spent about $50,000 from my cleaning company to kind of figure out how to manage all these bookings because it's complicated. It's not just taking a booking online. You have to schedule it out to somebody. They have to get the proper information. There's a lot of stuff that happens. There's notifications to customers. And back then, there wasn't really anything to kind of do that for you. I remember I paid Salesforce like $6,000 because they said they could do that. And that money disappeared. So yeah, over the past couple of years, I've been working with Rohan on different projects, and we've just been doing these cohorts kind of sporadically, but usually every January, the last 8 years or so, and we've helped well over 3,000 people now start their own cleaning company. I think the amount, if you were to tally everybody up, is somewhere around $500 million a year.
And, it's been so interesting being one of these cleaning companies ourselves with our company, Oak Bay Clean, but also meeting all of the people through the community. So you have created the software that we use as a result of us needing it, right?
Yeah.
Like there are various versions out there, but this very detailed version that addresses our actual day-to-day needs, I don't believe there's anyone else out there that does that because you knew it from the inside.
Yeah.
And
exactly.
you also created the community aspect. So can you talk about what your thinking was with the community part of it?
To be quite honest, with these types of like software businesses, the hardest part is acquiring users, right? Because there's this educational component that you have to overcome. And it's difficult to have an established company switch software or switch from literally pen and paper to using software. It's a nightmare switch. So a community is just a great way to have people that can help each other because when companies do well, obviously that helps us because they're going to stay as a subscriber for a longer period of time. So we want to make sure that the companies that use our software are going to be successful in the long run. That's very important. Yeah.
It's so important. So I'm curious about having the community now, watching all these cleaning companies be successful, and then seeing the mistakes that people make. So let's dive a little bit more into those mistakes. I want to talk automations.
Mhm.
ConvertLabs does a really good job of automating the things that are the most important, like reminding the clients and reminding the cleaners and inviting the cleaners to take the jobs, for example. A lot of members in the community bring up, I want to automate more. What tools do you guys all use?
So are one of those things where people think it's just going to solve everything and allow them to scale
Yep.
so quickly. But these types of businesses are so personal because you're going inside of people's homes that it doesn't really work that great for some things, right? So, for example, if you're asking somebody, how the cleaning was done, right?
Mhm.
It's so much better to get on the phone with the customer because your customer is going to, I mean, just imagine how they're going to feel when like the owner of the company is calling them, especially for the first time, to just confirm that, the cleaners did a good job. Like they're going to feel like, wow, like they really care.
Mhm.
Versus this transactional thing where you pay money, they do the job, and then there's no quality assurance. Like they don't the company doesn't care if I'm satisfied or not.
Yeah.
It feels very cold, and the chances that that customer is going to book with you again is very low. Does it scale? No, but it works so much better than just trying to automate that. Some processes you can automate, right? Promotional emails or whatever. But if you're asking for a review, as an example, like my barber asked me for a review, like himself, right? So I left him one. And the barbershop sent me this automated text like yesterday, and I never responded to that because I know it's an automated text. And
Mhm.
if I don't respond to that, I know that there's nobody that is going to care that I didn't respond.
Mm.
But if I didn't, help out my barber, himself, then he's going to know, right? So it doesn't work that great for some things.
That's such a good point. And it's so funny because I love Nice Job. We use the
Yeah.
Nice Job automation tool, which sends, I think, 7 different versions of text or emails based on how the client responds to the interaction. But for the first time, always, I do exactly what you said. I always follow up and then I let the machine work its magic. But here's the other thing I do that's different. Every time a cleaner gets a 5-star review on Google, whether the client mentions their name or not, whether they write words or not, if it's on Google and it's a 5-star review, I look it up on ConvertLabs, I see who did the job, and I copy and paste whatever the client said, if they said anything or just the stars. And then I say, I'm sending you an extra $25 today. Good job. And that's it. And I don't ask the cleaners to ask for reviews. I know they probably are, but I tell them they don't need to because I don't want them to now become salesy with the clients. I want it to be a very natural interaction like your barber just did with you.
Yeah.
And it has increased our reviews so much. So much. Like it's unbelievable how much better the quality of the work is on their end and their feeling about working with us, which is most important to me.
Yeah.
Happy cleaners do a better job. Okay, so what's next for you and ConvertLabs? What are you working on? I know you've been hard at work with your team, and I haven't
Yeah.
had a chance to talk to you one-on-one, so I'm going to take it now in our hot seat call.
Yeah, so we're super excited because over the past few months we've been working with a design firm in Ukraine. They've completely redesigned everything, and we really needed it because we need to restructure our menus. We
Mm,
needed to restructure how our services and pricing is configured
yeah.
to both allow more customizability and also make it simpler for some things. It's one of those things that's it's really kind of hard because, some people I want to add square footage or I want to have packages or some people are completely different industries, right? And you have to configure all of those. We're completely redoing that. We're working on an automated email campaign builder. That's going to be in there probably midsummer. We're working on an integration with Wingspan, which we're really excited about. So that's going to allow our users to pay their service providers. There's no percentage fees. It's just, I think we're going to be charging about $15 per contractor that's paid in that month. So if they're
Okay.
not paid, you're not charged. And you can pay them as many times as you want for whatever amounts as you want. So we used to be, obviously we had gig wage, but it equates to paying them $750 a month in gig wage because they were charging 1.9%. So if you're paying your contractors more than 750, you'd be saving money.
Wow.
And they also allow us to do a whole bunch of new things with their integration that gig wage didn't have. So that's the side where you're basically paying people. And again, it's optional. If people want to use something else, totally fine. We're just kind of adding it as a convenience thing because I want to be able to just pay my contractors inside of Convert Labs. And it also handles all of the IRS paperwork. So you don't have to worry about that. It's all done automatically. So we're working on all that. The new redesign, we're going to have new themes coming in this summer as well. A new theme builder as well, a website builder.
People will like that.
Yeah, that's the biggest complaint that we have right now. So we're going to completely be redoing that, making it a lot more simpler. But it's a heavy lift. It's quite a bit of work.
Yeah.
So yeah, we got a lot of stuff in the works. I'm missing like a couple of things too. Oh, we just released a new booking form style. We also have another style. It's like a step form that we're releasing as well. So yeah, so where we're going, I really want the name to mean something, like Convert Labs, conversion laboratory, where we're more of a CRM. You can see your lead go from a lead to a customer. You can understand your customers more, and when you're marketing to them, there's a lot more going on because we know who's a one-time customer. We should know everything. We should know if they purchase something on Mother's Day, next Mother's Day, we should be marketing to them, right? So there's a lot more that we could be doing that, we're hoping that this redesign can allow us to do because it's kind of restructuring a lot for us.
That's awesome. That's exciting. And to be clear, like how big is your actual team? How many people are we talking about when we talk about Convert Labs? And I think this is an important answer. It'll reveal a lot as to how you run your business.
Yeah, there's about 6 of us. And they've, Joyner and Daniel have been around for, I don't know, 8 years or so.
Yeah, and I know Gianfranco, I think everybody I've talked to that has, launched on Convert Labs has said, oh, Gian's so great. Whenever I need to make a change to my website, I know Gian is always the guy to help there. And I think, there's other alternatives to Convert Labs that are out there. And again, not a sales pitch, but just do your research to the people that are watching this, because, with this particular platform, we're using it, we're showing our numbers, there's a community involved. And it's all transparent. Whereas, there's some VC-backed companies that are out there that they're massive because they're now dealing with their investors. But in your case, your investors are the people that are actually using Convert Labs. You're not dealing with shareholders that are telling you to raise rates or make
We're
change.
completely bootstrapped. So I started it with like a couple $1,000. We had a really rough product in the beginning, and now we have hundreds of businesses, using our platform. We have, there's been thousands of service providers added to Convert Labs. So it's really crazy. And yeah, we're not the cheapest out there.
No, you shouldn't be. You should be the most expensive, in my opinion. Just like your cleaning company should be the most expensive, by the way, for anybody listening to this, because what you're offering them is way more than what anyone else is.
It's more than just software, because I know from, running my own company, sometimes, you just need help editing something on your website or something where it's just, you need somebody to help you with it. So that's why we have the support that we offer, and I always tell people, like, just send us whatever, we'll just do it for you.
Yeah, you did.
Because like you as an entrepreneur shouldn't be doing tech work. You shouldn't be editing your website that much. Send it to us. We'll do it. It takes what takes most people 2 hours, we can do in 5 minutes. Like just something like resizing your logo, just send us the files you have. We'll edit your logo and, make sure it looks legit. So we're trying to offer a lot more than, just a website and some software, but really help you succeed, because we want our customers to be around for, a decade plus.
It's such a different philosophy when it comes to running a business, but it's exactly the same philosophy we have with our clients, by the way, and with our cleaners. So you keep your people happy long-term, and they stay with you for the whole ride. So we don't have the same churn rate that other cleaning companies have in our city. We can continue to grow. Churn rate is the percentage of people that you lose per month. compared to how many you gain, right? And so we're always growing when we stick with the formula and with the plan, which is the 21-day blueprint. And that's it, and we keep our people happy, whether they're clients or cleaners. And you guys are the same when it comes to us as your users. Anybody else has any questions, please feel free to raise your hand or jump off mute, ask away while you guys are thinking. I was away at Camp Yoga this weekend. Here we go. Daniel, go for it.
No, actually, I want to hear about Camp Yoga. You go first.
I always talk about how I practice yoga every day in order to run this business and how it is the greatest business decision I've ever made. I have made yoga my job. And if it weren't for me going to yoga, my mental health, I wouldn't be able to handle doing this. So I went away for 3 days to Camp Yoga and I got home. And because our SEO is working and our cleaners are doing so great, and it's June 2024, and our business has been operating for 3 years, so we have that social reputation. I got home and I ticked the little box on ConvertLabs that says unassigned. And then I looked at the next 30 days of our schedule and I had 10 new unassigned bookings. It was really cool to come home and be like, damn. The more, and Kevin, you mentioned it to me because you said, doesn't going to yoga make you feel like you should go back into the room and do more? Because every time I practice more yoga, we get more bookings. And it's simply the mental health, the physical health piece of juggling, because we're juggling people's lives.
Yeah, I think that is incredibly important. There's this myth that entrepreneurship has to be just hustle, 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 grind it out. And, there's the law of diminishing returns. And for me, it's so important to just take time off. And it's hard because you really don't want to take time off. You feel guilty, right? You feel like there's something that you're going to be losing. You're going to you lose some opportunity. It might not be worth it, but it's so worth it. So I'm taking 3 weeks off this summer to go hiking. And I think this week too, for 2 days, I'll be out hiking too, just to get away from the computer because it's just so important.
And that's just it. It's the screen time, honestly. And it's the instant communication that we have in our workplaces now, that clients, they like if they send an email, they expect a response right away. Or if they send a text, they expect and to not respond and to just let it sit a minute, wow, like it's a total game changer. All right, back to Daniel. Daniel, come back in. Everybody's saying preach, totally. Take the time.
I don't want to get off this theme. I mean, honestly, this is something that really resonates with me because I'm like, yeah, I did the same thing. I checked out, I drove to the mountains, took my bicycle out, and just was mountain biking on Friday because I can't do anything else. I would die, right? I need my nervous system to be activated. I need to be able to function. So this is good. Let's get back to that theme. But I did want to make a couple of quick comments. And I don't want this to turn into one big, like, gushing compliment, but I gotta say, man, ConvertLabs is the absolute best. Nobody paid me to say this, okay? This is just authentically me, but it's the closest thing that I've ever experienced that's a business in a box, right? Rohan and you were like, this is how you do it. This is how you roll. You taught me for 30 days. And then I was like, I'm sold. I'm in. Take my money. And a week from that point, I just launched. I was like, hey, I'm all in. Let's do this. And that's 100%. So I want to just say thank you from the bottom of my heart for literally changing my life. Okay,
Well,
we're not a camp meeting, right? This isn't a revival meeting, but I just had to say that because it's spirit-led. The spirit-led.
Thank you.
The question that I want to throw out there, though, is, one other thing. Shout out to the support team. Okay. Like Gianfranco is my man. Like he's always there for me. I don't care if it's like 2 o'clock in the morning. I don't know where this guy is or where he gets his energy or what kind of coffee he's drinking, but that man deserves a raise. I love him. So if Gianfranco can hear this, I love you, man. Okay.
Daniel too. Oh my God, there's a Daniel in the group that same thing. Like,
sounds like I need to get in touch with Daniel. Anyway, the whole team is rock stars. And when you told Vic a while ago, it's like there's 6 of us. I'm assuming that there's some level of outsourcing to agencies or whatever, but my goodness.
Oh, there's none.
Oh, I worked in software for 17 years.
Yeah.
So we built businesses and we had teams of like 80 developers and it took them like 4 months to produce one tiny little pixel change. How do you develop features so quickly? And I know this doesn't have a whole lot to do with actually like cleaning and bleach and Windex and whatever, but I'm just curious.
Well, we have 2 meetings a week. So we have a meeting on Monday at 9 a.m. and then we have a meeting on Friday at 9 a.m., which is, basically Monday is what are we working on? Friday is what did we complete? So we do that, but we really just kind of discuss as a team like what needs to get done. And they're so involved, even though they're not responding to messages and emails, they're reading them. And we're also like copying and pasting, like, hey, this is what a customer issue is. So everybody really understands what our users need to run their businesses. And because of that, we're just really able to kind of work on the problems that need to get solved instead of working on some widget that isn't really important. Honestly, the right answer is probably I just got lucky, finding amazing people. Which is true in any business. Like if you have rock star cleaners, like it is such an easy business, and if you have really good developers, it's pretty easy to make some great software. What we've been missing is kind of the design side because developers are not creative designers. So that's why we've really needed kind of this redesign so that we can kind of restructure everything so that they can kind of go off and do stuff because we've been struggling a little bit on how to structure some stuff, pages and all that. So yeah.
I'll add on to the praise there in terms of no, you can jump in, Daniel, because every time you jump out, Jen's probably it's gonna be interesting how she edits it. So just jump in. Yeah. Same with you, Cecilia. She'll deal with the 4.
Okay.
All good.
Thoughts and prayers to Jen for all this crazy back and forth. But I do want to ask a question, and Vic, please get back to what you're saying because I think it's crucial. The question I have for you though, Kevin, is this. You've created this software. This software is running my business. Okay. If we were to take ConvertLabs out of my business, I would not have a business.
Yeah.
So as you look at it like from a 20,000-foot view, what would you suggest to cleaning business owners that they could do that would allow them to generate more revenue? Okay, I know this is kind of a business owner question. It's in the trenches, but as you look at the software, what are some features of the software that allow us as business owners to generate more revenue? Because I'm looking at my cash flow and it's, I'm okay, but my margins aren't super healthy. And I just want to see from your perspective, what can I do to improve that?
Yeah. So let me go a little wide. So I think what's really important is kind of go back to the basics, right? So and if you can just create like some solid goals for yourself, like even daily goals. Like my goal is to talk to 5 potential customers today. And you have to hit those things, right? Like and however you have to find them, if you have to go on Facebook and try to, message people who have been looking for cleaning companies or reaching out to realtors, like you have to have some type of goals. The one thing I'll say, and I don't know if this is really answering your question, but I think a lot of people, they create their website and it's like they're turning on the lights of their business and they expect people to just come to them and they can just like sit back, relax, and like the business is going to come. The business is never going to come. You have to go like on the attack and go and get the business. So that's what I see a lot of people struggle with is they kind of just sit back and they're like, okay, our booking is going to come in, or people are just going to book on my website, and it's just not true, especially in the beginning. It's not true in the beginning. You have to go out, talk to customers, potential leads. You have to just kind of go out and get it. So I don't know if that's answering your question specifically when it comes to like the software component of it.
Absolutely. In fact, I just took some notes and had some major epiphanies while you were answering this. So you probably just helped my business generate an additional $10,000 a month in the last 60 seconds. I'm serious. Thank you so much. That's really helpful. And again, because yeah, we've done all this work. We want to flip the switch and let the money come in.
Yeah.
Doesn't really work that way. Yeah. So that's
no, it never comes in. And when you stop doing those things, like you'll literally see your revenue just flatline. Right. And you have to switch it up. There's something new that you have to do. You might have to be creative and try different things. and kind of just, see what works for you.
Thank you, brother. That's really helpful.
Mhm.
And I'll add on to that, Daniel. The Millionaire Mastermind that we have, where we meet once a month, and everybody who's earning at least 50K a month in revenue and is transparent and kind joins the Millionaire Mastermind, and it's free to join because we all share and we're all getting so much out of it. And we all just show up for 1 hour on a Zoom call once a month. And in that group, we find the same things every single month. Every single month, the same things keep coming up, and it's exactly what Kevin just said. It's the keeping it simple, staying the course, getting out of your own way when your entrepreneurial brain takes over. And one thing that I learned from my dad that I say a lot is creative people, if they don't have problems to solve, will find problems to solve. And sometimes the solution that is so simple is really the best one. And so if you're creating problems in your business and you don't even know that you're doing it, it's that you've probably veered off the simple plan.
Yeah, and going back to the conversation that we had with automating stuff, right?
Yeah.
People they'll see their sales flatline and they're like, okay, I need to create more automations and more. It's like, no,
No,
that's the thing that you do.
opposite.
That's the thing that you do when you don't have any time in your day because your phone is just ringing and you're drowning in business. Then you can create the automations.
Today I needed them.
Yeah, that's when you have to do the things that don't scale, right? Calling people, messaging people manually, not collecting a list of the 5,000 realtors in your city and blasting them with a text message from Text Magic,
Kevin, that example is so good because it just came up this week in the community. And I don't know how many times I have to say, guys, no, I'm not saying spam people.
Yeah.
The exact opposite. Solve their actual problems. If you're spamming them, you're creating a problem.
Yeah.
Right? They're actual problems. And real estate, for context, today's June 3rd, 2024. This is real estate season. They are very busy right now. It's amazing how many people just try to blast, oh, I can just do that with text. No.
There's real estate agents that are they have huge social media followings, in their city. There's a guy in Vegas, he has hundreds of thousands of people following him.
Yeah.
Could you imagine if you could get a story or a post about your cleaning company on there, right? They don't even have to be real estate agents. They could be foodies. They could be whoever's mommy bloggers for your city, right? You have to find those types of opportunities because they could be a gold mine.
Yeah, and honestly, I think that to shower you with some more praise, Kevin. I think the reason that the 30-day courses, because they have consistently worked. That's the other thing that I think you can safely say after 10 years of doing this. There's something magical about taking people that are strangers, putting them on a Zoom every day for 30 days. And the ones that want to just do the YouTube course and do it in a weekend are the ones that are then but I don't understand. And it's just slow down. Just do one thing a day.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, don't try to do it all in one day. It's too much for your brain. But doing one small thing every day methodically is a better approach. But then also to really listen, because the ones that are successful, like Daniel or me and Jen or Cecilia and Blake, anybody that's been in the hot seat calls, every single one of them has actually listened to your advice and implemented it. There's Cecilia. Jump on in, Cecilia. What do you got for us?
All right. Well, this is great, Kevin. As a business owner, when you started your cleaning company and you went to develop Convert Labs, why did you do it first? What was your why? And is it I'm missing something in the industry, I need to do this? What exactly encouraged you or motivated you to do that?
To be honest, when we started Convert Labs, it was actually Convert 27. So we were a marketing software attached to Launch 27, which was Rohan's software company. And after he sold the company and they switched credit card processing from Stripe to somebody else, people were upset. And we basically had to make a decision, which is, do we keep hemorrhaging users because they're canceling Launch 27 and therefore they're canceling us because we're only integrated with Launch 27, or do we build our own booking solution? And I was hesitant to do that. My team actually wanted me to do that. a lot earlier than we did. And I didn't want to do that because I knew kind of just the headaches and the difficulty of running a software where hundreds or thousands of businesses are depending on it. It's very, very, difficult. Like imagine the software just going down for a couple of minutes is a complete nightmare. But yeah, we decided, we're just going to do it and build it and see what happens. And I always had the idea that I could do it better than other companies that are out there. I think, design is a really important thing. It has to look good. It has to be easy to use. You have to minimize the amount of clicks to get something done because we want business owners to focus on what matters and not be an admin. Because when I had my company, before there was any real software, you spent a lot of time doing mundane tasks, or you had a bunch of VAs who were doing it who are occasionally going to mess up on something really important. So, and I was hesitant to build it too because I knew if I was going to build it, I really wanted to do it well. So that's why I'm really excited about version 2.0 that's coming out because I think that kind of really just kind of illustrates what we've been envisioning, for these last couple of years.
Because I ask, as many of us here, we're also kind of very creative and we don't see ourselves just staying in the cleaning business forever, right? And, we want to start other things, other ventures and so forth. So I had a couple of ideas and I think it's time to implement, but as we know, there's a need, there's things that need to happen in order to get there. So thank you for sharing that. That's great.
Yeah. And like when I was starting my cleaning company, like I remember very vividly, this is a stepping stone because I knew I could make money with that. So I knew it was going to be a stepping stone to other things. And so, Rohan and I started other companies with money from our cleaning company, product businesses, travel company. So we started a bunch of different stuff, but I knew like software was kind of what I enjoyed because I like building stuff. So it's really great when you can like come up with the design and then you develop it into a functional thing. Even though it's digital, it's still really, really cool to do that. So,
and to have the impact that you've had on all these amazing people, like, and you don't even know our cleaners, but you've impacted our cleaners and our clients, and we're in this small place in Canada. We've never met in real life. We've only met this way. And that's an incredible impact. So on that note, that brings me to the question that I've been dying to ask you. You've met so many amazing entrepreneurs and you have all the success stories from their success. Are there any of those entrepreneurs that stand out? And I'm not asking for me and Jen, but to be clear, but are there any stories in the last 10 years where you're like, this is the one that I'll remember forever. This is the person or the impact that I had.
Wow. I think there was one, and gosh, I'm blanking on her name, but when she started, she was with her daughter in a battered women's shelter, and she basically didn't have anything, and she was in a really rough spot, and so we just brought her into the cohort. Well, we didn't charge her anything for it, and she ended up having like a very successful 6-figure a year business cleaning company. And for me, that's always the most memorable because, and there's been several other people who were like, I forgot, I think it was Shanisha who started her cleaning company in her mom's closet. And so there's a couple of people who really just started from positions that are so rough. And when we talk to people who are, in much better positions, and they're hearing their excuses, it's just really crazy, because when we know that there's people that have really started from the bottom, literally doing everything on their cell phone because they don't have a laptop and still becoming successful, like that's, those are the stories that are most memorable to me. Not people that are doing, millions a year or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think consistently we can show through the hot seat calls that people whose lives have blown up in whatever way, whether it's that you hate your job or you and your partner have broken up and you've got these kids to support or whatever it is, you're burnt out and you have to leave the job that you have. What you've really done by creating the 30-day courses or the 21-day course with the software is you've created an opportunity for other people to change their lives and have an impact on all those other people. Like, yeah, it's a cleaning company, right?
Yeah.
But it isn't. This is so much more. And I cannot express that enough. And I know I'm, Jen and I every day write in our journal saying, thank you to Kevin and Rohan for changing our lives, because it's allowing us to do the other things that we're really passionate about.
Yeah, for sure. And that's one of the things that we think about too, is like, how can we make it so easy for somebody to like get up and go without like needing to know how to like connect a domain to their website, and that's one of the reasons why we do stuff like we set up people's like G Suite accounts,
Yeah.
their emails, just because like I know how difficult that is doing that, and so somebody who's never done it before, like they might struggle and take a couple of days, or they might do it wrong and end up in like Google, purgatory or whatever it is. So we just do stuff like that for them because we want people to be able to just, start with what really matters, start with the sales instead of, worrying about, their logo, file types or whatever, so
It still
yeah.
makes a difference on how much money they'll actually earn, right? That's the thing that you've shown so much is your logo. It's, it's just a logo. It's just, well, and I would go into philosophy of it's ego that is trying to get you to
Sure.
spend so much time on a logo. And in this business, save that for the other business that you will eventually grow and build. Yeah.
For sure.
Oh, so good, Kevin. All right. The chat, like everybody's like, yes, so much. Like this resonates. Like, so I think the love is here for you. Are you going to be running any new 30-day courses? Do we have any announcements to share? Should we just connect them to the 21-day course below, which is free on the YouTube channel?
I think our next one's probably going to be October.
Right, so we're going to take a summer break.
I'm trying to do some hiking trips this summer.
Nice.
And yeah, it's kind of nice to do those cohorts in the winter when you're stuck at home, but in the summer, I gotta go. I gotta leave. I gotta do stuff,
I love it. I'm totally with you. And it really is all on the YouTube channel. There's been a couple of changes. You mentioned gig wage, so we need to update our gig wage YouTube video, because I'm pretty sure we have one in there. And they can still book discovery calls with us, but they're limited. So just keep that in mind for the folks that are watching and listening, to book a call. But my best advice is to book a call with us when you know you've got some solid questions, because we're happy to take the call with you. But also subscribe and continue listening to the hot seat calls. Jen and I are committed to this. We're doing 2 a month. We're going to keep interviewing people as long as people keep listening. Somebody gave me the thumbs down, but I think that was me. So
Yeah.
Zoom. Oh, there we go. Party time. Thank you, Zoom. Yeah.
What I'll say about the cohorts real quick is, like we do charge for them, but the information is out there. It's available. A lot of the reasons what people pay for is like the reassurance that they can do it and being, with them, day by day. So I'll just say, you could do it. You don't have to, sign up to the cohort or wait or anything, and just reach out if you need anything. But I'm the worst salesman. Like I don't,
I know you really are. And I mean, to be fair,
yeah.
I just like interviewing people that are successful and finding out how.
Yeah.
So Kevin, you probably haven't watched Jake and Emmy's call yet, but we just did a hot seat call with Jake and Emmy, who found us through the YouTube channel. And it literally followed the instructions like to the T, and now have a successful cleaning company in Dubuque, Iowa within just a couple months of launching, which is really cool. So, we'll interview them in a year and we'll check back in and we'll just keep going through it. So it's all good.
Yeah.
Me and Jen will keep doing that. And then people can keep learning and growing along with us, and just keep asking us in the community. Like as soon as you subscribe to Convert Labs, you get access to the community. So you can ask any of us in there, is this thing real? Because we know, having done that ourselves, and every hot seat member being like, is this thing real? It's real.
Yeah.
That battered woman's story, in all honesty, that was part of the reason Jen and I signed up. Because we were like, hey, this is the real deal.
Yeah. And if there's anyone out there, like, reach out, like we won't charge anything for, for that. If as long as you do have some means to get the business going, right?
Yeah.
Like if you got
need
zero,
yeah.
going to be a
It's
little.
truly 0-0.
Yeah.
Get a job at Starbucks or wherever. You do need some sort of income to pay your bills. But don't make it be cleaning. I think that has been consistent. Everybody in the hot seat calls, it said do some cleaning, not all the cleaning. Because you cannot grow your business if you're cleaning toilets at the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Daniel's screaming, do not clean. Because he knows it is so hard once you start cleaning because the money's good. And then you just stay there. So
Yeah, you'll stagnate, 10K a month, 15K a month, but you won't be able to grow.
do you love how easily you just say 10K a month, 15K a month? Like we just say that as if it's like not real big money. Like that's big money.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm
yeah.
also considering, you have a helper, you're paying, for supplies, you're paying for your own gas,
Totally.
so it's not, you're at the end of the month, that's what you're clearing, but yeah, we do see people, when they're doing their own cleanings, they'll be somewhere around there.
I'm going to read the chats because they're actually really funny. They're all saying, do not clean. We are not experts at cleaning because we're not. That's why we hire experts. And Richard just said, I can barely make my bed. Richard, I am absolutely with you. My house is absolutely trashed right now. Not going to lie. 100%. We don't have to be good cleaners. We just have to be good with people.
Yeah.
That's the job. It's being good with people. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And the software helps you to be good with people. But I think some people think the software helps replace the people and the communicating with people. And you just have to, this is human.
Yeah.
There we go. Awesome, guys. Well, thank you all so much. And thank you to the previous hot seat members who jumped in and helped there. I was a little low energy, so I apologize, but practicing yoga for 3 days. And then first day of June. What I was thinking, but the high season is upon us and it's so great. Everybody's so busy and it's so awesome. So thank you, Kevin.
Yeah, cool. Thank you all, for supporting us for so many years too. Like it's really great. So we're, it's great to have this relationship where, you're able to help people and, they stay on for, years. So it's been really cool. Yeah.
And I know Jen's going to cut this, but I just have to say, because I always talk about this, a couple of people took your course and then went off and created their own software and sell it for cheaper and are better at marketing and sell coaching programs for $8,000 to $10,000 to teach exactly what Kevin and Rohan have been teaching for free for over 10 years. And I know you never talk about that, but as somebody who, I'm like, karma's a bitch. Karma's a bitch. Like, be kind, spread it around. We do this because we can pay it forward. And we're just so grateful for you guys for changing our lives. And we'll continue to keep paying it forward if we can, as we can. I shouldn't say if, because we can. So we will. But you've been really good at not, I would get so mad. I don't know how you do it. I'd be telling everybody.
Yeah, the thing is when they like literally steal your stuff, like we had somebody steal all of our email templates and put it in their software, and we saw them because we knew who they were. They were in India. Because I was like, who's from India? And I literally saw them rip all of our stuff. And then, like a month later, they come out with this big announcement. We're coming out with this email, program, and there's our emails.
Yeah.
That we paid copywriter for, that we paid a designer for, and it's like, man, that's crazy. Yeah.
And I hear that that's what the software world is like. I've heard that a number of times, and but this is a people business. It's not just software. But yeah.
If we compete with features, we're going to lose. We have to compete with other things.
Yeah.
Right. So we have to compete with our relationships, with our customer service, while still having, really good software. So
yeah. Awesome. Thanks, Kevin.
Alrighty.
Thanks, guys. Bye,
Thanks, everybody. Nice seeing everyone.
Mm-hmm.